British number one, Tim Henman, who joins us now. Tim, great to see you. Right, come on, tell us. What was he like to play against?
A nightmare for a lot of people. I played him a couple of times. I played him once in a night match in Rome, and I felt like I played quite well. And I lost 6-2, 6-2. But no, it's very emotional just, watching those pictures of a young Rafael Nadal coming on the tour and then going on to achieve so many incredible things in our beautiful sport. So as he said, these things have a beginning and an end. And it's been emotional to watch Federer retire. It was emotional this year at Wimbledon to see Murray retire. And certainly it will be very emotional to watch Rafa play one last time in the Davis Cup final at home.
Yeah, it really will. Give us an idea of his presence on court.
Yeah, I mean, he's always had huge presence. I remember the first time I actually practiced with him, which was in Miami when he was about 18 or 17, 18. He's not the tallest guy, but he's strong and he was hitting the ball ridiculously hard. And I just felt like you couldn't really play like that because you'd make a mistake every third shot. A couple of months later, he was winning big titles on clay. But there were so many different elements. He's a lefty. That forehand was like a lasso. We all have been able to watch and be amused by his superstitions, the bottle and the sides of the court. But I think when you look at his achievements and you talk about success being about maximizing your potential, to have won 22 slams, to have won the French 14 times, it's very difficult to comprehend what he's been able to achieve. And I think if you add to that the way that he's gone about his career, the way that he's handled himself, both on and off the court. He's just been such an incredible role model for all of sport.
Yeah, indeed. Take us inside the tour, Tim. What was he like on tour?
I mean, he's a great character, and I certainly wouldn't profess to know him as well as others, but he was always fun to be around, always treated people the way he liked to be treated. You see him in the locker room getting ready for matches. He was an absolute bundle of energy, running around, getting his headband sorted. But he had a great team of people around him, and it was, dominated by his family. Obviously, his uncle coached him for many, many years. And then, Carlos Moya, who, he grew up probably idolizing in Mallorca, took over the reins, and Carlos Costa, a great Spanish player, is his manager. So he's always been a family man. But when you reflect on the way that he played, I think for me, he was one of the greatest competitors I've seen in all of sport. The way that he embraced each and every point, the challenge of giving 100% at every moment. I think that will be, one of his great legacies, as well as all the tournaments that he won.
Tim, I like that. One of the greatest competitors of all time. So I'm going to push you a little bit more. Where does he rank amongst the tennis elite?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I think we need to, first of all, sort of dissect it and look at the, kind of the pantheon of men's champions. And I think it does come down to a numbers game. And right now with Djokovic at 24 slams and Rafa at 22, I give Djokovic the edge. But when you reflect on, I think his impact on the sport, I think the rivalries that we've been blessed with in our sport, I reflect on Federer and Nadal as one of the great rivalries. I mean, they were chalk and cheese. You got the lefty against the right-hander, the single-handed backhand, against the two-hander, and just his fighting spirit. It was a privilege to watch. The first Wimbledon final I ever commentated on was 2008, and that was Federer and Nadal. It was still probably the greatest match that I've ever seen.
Tim, that was fantastic. Thank you very much for coming on and putting Rafa into some sort of context for us.